Giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, RAHAKODASH. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. And it's a sincere shalom to the Akiness out there pushing in sincerity and in truth and in sound doctrine. This is going to be well, it's not really going to be a quick video. This is actually going to be quite a lengthy, probably a lengthy video. Because what I'm going to do in this video, because every year, these guys' Passovers, they get worse and worse and worse. So what I'm going to be doing in this video is I'm kind of going to go into depth about what was really going on during the Passover and why it's really a serious thing and it's not a concert. Okay. Now, as you can see here, all of these camps, all of these Passovers, they're not solemn. So-called Passover. They're not solemn. You know what I'm saying? They're parties. You got guys up here on fake thrones and stuff like that. And it has nothing to do with the Passover. Now, we had this guy, Chief Ephraim, try to get on us and say, yeah, all GMS does is go on to breakdowns and stuff like that. Yes. Because do you see what happens when you don't go into breakdowns? Do you see what happens when you don't take this thing seriously? Now this when I'm getting ready to read, it's going to sound like a horror movie, right? I mean, you can see here. That's why I'm letting this clip play. This is a video put up by GMS Inquire early too. Okay, you got these guys sitting up here. You got this guy with a rifle. What do you need a rifle for if you're at a Passover, man? You know what I'm saying? Are you really that faithless? All right. Then you got these guys sitting up here on thrones and stuff like that. So, again, when I'm going to do this, like I said, this is not exactly going to be a quick video. I'm going to touch on a few scriptures, and we're going to go into depth of what was really happening at the Passover. Okay, during the time of the Passover, just to show you that these guys are going off, man. These guys are going off. Okay. So, and before I continue, this guy here, it looks like something like Malik 777. Says you can't win with GMS. I don't know how many times we got to tell y'all, man. It's not about GMS, man. It's not about Great Mill. It's not about what is the Great Millstone, man. It's not, you know what I'm saying? It's not about us, man. It's about the Lord. We tell you this all the time. You can't win with GMS. Why? Because we tell you that you're going to hell off. But then you'll sit up there and say, I love my brothers. If you really love your brother, you would tell him that you are going off. This is not what the Passover was about. This is absolutely not what the Passover was about. Now look at this. Look at the reply here. You ain't lying. I'm surprised they didn't say the lamb meat was too cold, but they're our brethren. We ain't your brothers if you doing stuff like this during the Passover, man. Let's get that straightened out. Well, you are not considered our brothers if you are doing stuff like this during the Passover, man. The Passover, this type of thing gets under my skin when I see people call something like this the Passover, or something like this. Right? Something like this here, the Passover. You see what I'm saying? Jake just loves going off, man. It says, peace and blessings to all those who are walking according to the scriptures. Hold on. This guy sit up here and says you can't win with GMS, and then you go under him, it says, according to the scriptures. These people, these Jakes are not keeping the Passover according to the scriptures. This is not a memorial. What is this? This is not a memorial. Oh, I didn't even realize that. Hold on. That's why I stopped for a second. Hold on a second. Let me full screen this. I hope to sit on the throne with the king. You can't make this up. You can't make this up. So Alazar is the king. See, this is what I'm talking about. This is exactly what we're talking about. You got Bishop Nathaniel. You got Alazar. Now you sit up there and said, I can't wait to sit on the throne with the king. See, the Lord get ready to show y'all, man. But anyway, I know it went on a little longer, but like I said, I'm not really in a rush for this video because it's going to be a little lengthy anyway. So without further ado, we're going to start at, this is Exodus 12, and I'm going to start at, this is part of 12. I'm not reading all of 12 because the long part is getting ready to come up. But this is, let's see here. We're going to start at Exodus 12 and 26. Okay, this is, and it shall come to pass when your children shall say unto you, what mean ye by this service? That ye shall say, it is the sacrifice of the Lord's Passover, who passed over the houses, right, of the children of Israel in Egypt when he smote the Egyptians and delivered our houses, and the people bowed their head and worship. From what I'm seeing for these last few clips of these guys doing their Passovers, I think what I'm going to title this is the Passover was a time of terror for everybody. I'm not just talking about the Egyptians. It was a time of terror for everybody, man. That's what I'm probably going to title this video. So judging by these last few clips that we've seen with these guys during the Passover, they're not bowing their head and worshiping. In fact, they're raising themselves up to be kings, sitting on thrones on a fake ass stage, man. This is exactly why everybody looks at the so-called black Hebrew Israelites, as a damn joke. Because you got guys like this Alazar and that guy Rakah and the GOCC looking like Bernie Mac. You know what I'm saying? With them hat tricks and stuff like that. Then you got the other one. They're all concerts, man. It's us as Jakes, man. We just can't do anything right, man. We just can't do anything right. Okay? It comes to show you how arrogant the Pharisees were and are. It's really showing you exactly who the Pharisees are. You know, as time always answers questions, man. And as time goes on, the Lord is really starting to really show who's a wicked Pharisee. Right? Anyway. It says, verse 28. It says, and the children of Israel went away and did as the Lord commanded Moses and Aaron, so did they. Again, these guys are not bowing their head and worshiping. They're not. And it came to pass that at midnight, here we go, the Lord smote all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, from the firstborn of Pharaoh that sat on his throne unto the firstborn of the captive that was in the dungeon, and all the firstborn of cattle. It didn't matter if they was in power or whether they was then sitting in a dungeon, man. All the firstborn was slaughtered. This is a time of terror, not celebration, not concerts, man. Okay? Got a nerve to sit up there and say you can't win with GMS. Get the hell out of here, man. Get out of here with that, man. Are you absolutely serious, man? You got that much hatred for GMS that you would pollute or try to pollute, because you can't pollute the Lord's Passover. You just can't. You know what I'm saying? The Lord's Passover is the Lord's Passover. Right? But you hate GMS that much that you would accept, right? And try to change the way the Passover works. And these are the same people that claim to read the Bible. You haven't read the Bible. You haven't. Now there's more. It says, and Pharaoh rose up at night, and he and all his servants and all the Egyptians, And there was a great cry in Egypt, for there was not a house. Listen good, man. There was not a house where there was not one dead. Oh my goodness, man. Oh my goodness. But we gonna continue on, man. We're gonna continue on because, like I said, the later on in this video, this is going to start sounding like a straight up horror movie. That already does. Can you imagine the men sitting there, you know what I'm saying, with their families or whatever, you know what I'm saying, keep, praying to the Lord with the Passover and stuff like that, and they're hearing the cries of everybody, they're hearing the screams of mothers losing their children and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying, grown men crying and grown men screaming. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? You think we really gonna be sitting in a concert, you know what I'm saying, sitting up on thrones? Yeah, man, I'm the shit. Look at me, man. You know what I'm saying? Arms folded, you sitting sideways. You know what I'm saying? You sitting sideways with the microphone. You know what I'm saying? Like you the shit, man. In a real Passover, see, this comes to show you how much we don't fear, man. Now we're gonna continue on. We're gonna get Exodus 10 and 21, verse through 23. This has it all in it. On one of the KJV. Here we go. This is 10 verse 21 verse through 23. Salakia. It says, and the Lord said unto Salakia, and the Lord said unto Moses, stretch out thine hand toward heaven, and there may be darkness over the land of Egypt, even darkness which may be felt. Man. Y'all remember that movie Insidious? I keep saying that, man. You know what I'm saying? That movie Insidious, man, that's a really good one. You talk about darkness that you can feel. Darkness that you can feel. Sheesh. It says, and Moses stretched forth his hand toward heaven, and there was a thick darkness in all the land of Egypt 3 days. They saw not one another, so it was so dark that nobody could even see. Like, you come outside, you see your neighbor, it was so dark you couldn't even see them, man. It don't matter how close you are. It was so dark you couldn't see anything in front of you. It says, neither rose any from his place 3 days. God. So they literally, and we're going to go more in depth about that situation too. They literally just sat there. It was so dark that they literally just sat there. You know what I'm saying? Probably crapping on themselves and all that stuff, man. We going to get more into it, man. It says, neither rose any from his place for 3 days straight. It says, but all the children of Israel had light in their dwellings. Why? Because we bowed and feared the Lord. Those clips that I just now showed you is not bowing your head and fearing the Lord. YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI. Now, this is where the long part kicks in, man. Okay? Here we go. I'm going to read this whole chapter. This is it. I got it in a different translation. I don't even know what this is. The CEVDCI. I don't know all these different translations, but I only got it here because it kind of makes it a little more simple, and you can get a more of an understanding. All right, because I just want to roll through it without me having to break it down, all the way through, right? Because I just try to get through it as quick as possible, right? But here we go. The Egyptians are struck by terror. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 17. And I'm probably going to read verse 18 too, because that's a continuation. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 17. Here we go. Your decisions are difficult to explain, and people who have not been taught have followed the wrong path. For example, those lawless Egyptians, right, thought that your chosen people were under their power, but they themselves, right, became prisoners in their very own homes for a long, dark night because they were not under the protection of your eternal care. They thought that you had forgotten that their secret sins were hidden behind a curtain, right, of darkness. When gruesome creatures seemed to appear, here we go. This is that darkness, right? When gruesome creatures seem to appear, nowhere in their homes were they safe from the fear of terrifying noises, right, and the frightening faces of gloomy ghosts. Can you imagine that? My goodness. Again, the KJV says all of this, but I'm just kind of getting a different translation on it, just to simplify it. God damn. Again, as I'm reading this, I'm picturing this in my mind, man. You know what I'm saying? You sitting there in a dark basement, you're hearing stuff, and now you're starting to see things. Okay? On that miserable night, the darkness was so thick that neither flaming lamps nor bright stars could be seen. So it could be a real bright, a real, you know what I'm saying, pretty starry night. You know what I'm saying? Couldn't even see that. That's how dark it was. Those lanterns that they carry around, those lights, couldn't even see that. It says, and when a lightning flashed, the fearsome sight was worse than the darkness. Oh my goodness. So it said, when the lightning flashed, the fearsome sight was worse than the darkness. Something that's worse than the darkness, you better fear, man. Keep in mind while reading this, this is all the Lord's power. This is all the Lord doing this. Keep in mind, man. And this is during the Passover. Keep in mind. You clowns of these other Israelite camps with these Passovers full of gimmicks. Keep this in mind, man. Verse 7. The Egyptians had depended on their magical powers, right, and had boasted about their great wisdom, but kind of like what's happening today. You know what I'm saying? They're depending on these pharmacies and all these new laws and, you know what I'm saying, social media. It's all witchcraft, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? They pray on that, and they boast on it, right? Their wisdom. You know what I'm saying? They got all these medicines. They got the infrastructure and, you know what I'm saying, the military, all of that stuff, right? It says, but all this was proved useless. Man. That one night is all it took for the Lord to say, yeah, I gave that shit to y'all, man. You gotta excuse the language. But yeah, I gave that. I gave these little, you know what I'm saying, this power to you, man. And see how easy I could take it away. Now y'all scared. You know what I'm saying? Continuing on. It says there were some who said they could cure the fears and worries of sick minds. It says, but they, watch this. It says, but they themselves became sick with foolish fear. Even if nothing else frightened them, they were terrified by the sound of wild animals outside and by hissing snakes. They were so frightened that they refused to open their eyes. But keeping them closed did not relieve their fears, because evil people are cowards, right? Condemned by their own consciousness, right? And whatever they fear becomes even more frightening. So imagine, you know what I'm saying? Imagine, and these are animals, you know what I'm saying? This is just the sound. These things weren't even there. That's how dark it was, man. They started hearing things. They started seeing things. These things weren't even there. Right? We had to hear all of that screaming. And as we were hearing that, you know what we were doing? We were bowing our heads and we were praying to the Lord. We were praying to the Lord, YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI. That's what we were doing. We were not, absolutely, were not sitting on thrones. Okay, we were not hosting big concerts. You know what I'm saying? Beach parties and stuff like that. We absolutely were not doing that, man. The Passover is not a serious thing to Jake, man. And now you see why the Lord put us in this situation we in now. Because we never listen. We never listen. We are so hard-headed, man. It's ridiculous. We are so hard. We can't even keep a memorial, man. We're so hard-headed. This is why anybody that says that Israelites don't deserve what they get, you're a damn lie, man. Because yes, we deserve, as an entire nation, as an entire people, we deserve everything that's happened to us, man. The lynching, the castration, the everything, man. Being fed the alligators and all of that, man. Because you want to know why? Because the Lord don't make no mistakes. We deserve every last bit of that, man. Because of look what we're doing now. We can't even keep one simple Passover, man. These guys are calling themselves kings, man. I can't. Well, I hope to be sitting on the throne with the king. Jake, man. I'm gonna keep reading, man. Salaki, I'm gonna keep reading. And you know, it really, again, I know I said at the beginning of this video, but as I'm reading this, and then as I as I keep looking at these other Israelite camps, this is why we don't have nothing to say to them, man. They can't even keep a simple holy day. They're going off, and they dare say, "You can't win with GMS." No, you can't win with them, man. What do you mean you can't win with us? You can't win with them. You tell them, look, man, this is going off. This is going off, man. They gonna have a fit. They gonna want to fight you. They gonna call you all types of names. You can't win with them. If you're going off, then you're just going off, man. And again, these are the same clowns that says you supposed to love your brother. If you love your brother so much, tell their asses they going off, man. Anyway, let's keep going. It says fear takes over when people stop reasoning. They no longer think straight, and their only hope is to deny the real source of their problems. Night itself is powerless, since it comes from the powerless world of the dead. It says, and yet the Egyptians slept restlessly on that night because of the horrible and unexpected. Oh, you see that? Unexpected nightmares. Unexpected nightmares. See that? It says brought on by the surrender of their souls. Sheesh. To the forces of evil. Man, I tell you, man. Let's keep going. It says every one of the Egyptians, including farmers and shepherds, fell prisoner to the fear of the of the darkness of a Salakia. To the fear of a darkness that was more difficult to escape than iron chains. It says the slight I can't imagine. You know what I'm saying? I can't. There's no words to express how I'm feeling with this right now, man. I just gotta keep reading. It says the slightest noise made them paralyzed with fear. The songs of birds in the trees, the rhythm of rushing water, the surprising crash of a rock, the hoofbeats of animals jumping about, the roars of lions, or even an echo in the mountains. Everywhere else in the world, everyone went about their own business in broad daylight, while these Egyptians were covered, right, with a heavy blanket of darkness, like the darkness of death that would soon capture them. it says, but the trouble they brought themselves was even heavier, was even an heavier burden than the darkness. So the darkness pretty much, their minds, when it pretty much said it. When you're not thinking straight and you're afraid, things start getting worse for you. It's even more problematic than the actual problem itself. You start becoming a problem. You gotta remember the Lord created us a certain way. So the Lord said, we're gonna put a darkness. We're gonna put a darkness over the entire land of Egypt, and then their minds are gonna start playing games with them, and then it's gonna be even more worse. Like I said, these are things that they were hearing and seeing, things that were not even there. You know what I'm saying? Sheesh. Let's go on to 18. These are not very long verses or chapters. So here we go. This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 18. A bright light was shining on your chosen people. And although the Egyptians could not see your people, they could hear them and considered them lucky because they were not suffering. The Egyptians were thankful that the people had Salakia. The Egyptians were thankful that the people that they had abused were not abusing them in return. And so they begged your chosen people for forgiveness. Then, with a flaming fire at night, and with the warmth of the sun during the day, you guided your people through it says, and their enemies deserve to be prisoners of absolute darkness because they had imprisoned your children who would bring the light of your law to the land, to the world. Okay? It says the death of all the firstborn sons of Egypt, of the Egyptians. The Egyptians wanted to kill the newborn sons of your chosen people, but Moses rescued and survived, was rescued and survived. Then you decided to punish the Egyptians by killing their firstborn sons and by drowning their army in the sea, right? However, the night before our ancestors left Egypt, you warned them of what would happen. So they were able to celebrate knowing that you would keep your promise to rescue your obedient people. Again, this is talking about Israelites. Okay. It says, and these translations, they always do this. Chosen people, your obedient people, Israelites. Okay. It says to rescue your obedient people and to destroy their enemies, just as they knew you would. By these same events, you punished your enemies and rewarded us, your chosen people. Okay. Let's see here. It says, while the enemies cried bitter tears and made mournful sounds over the death of their children. We had to hear that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to read all of this. Actually, 17 was the point. 17 was the point. It says, in the middle of the night, when all was peaceful and quiet, your mighty word came down from your royal throne in heaven to attack a doomed land. Right? So it says many of the Egyptians died. Oh wow, yeah. So the fear of them witnessing what they witnessed in the darkness. A lot of some of them had died from that, like heart attacks and stuff like that. The fear killed them. Right, the fear had killed them. It says many of the Egyptians died a dreadful death that night. It says, but not before the. So the Lord said, I'm gonna make sure they go through these nightmares and die a dreadful death before they die. I guess I just said that right. Anyway, it says, but not before nightmares and terrifying dreams showed them why they are being punished. Right. So again, I'm not going to read the rest of this. This This, 17 and part of 18 was the point. The Passover was a time of terror for everybody. That's the point of this video. Because while they were out there suffering, and we had to hear that, and we had to witness that, what were we doing? We were bowing our heads in a sense of urgency. We were bowing our heads and worshiping the Lord, Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI. What do these guys do? Well, exactly this. What do these guys do? This shit here. Now, what I just read. Think about what the hell I just read. And then look at this. All of this, man. Giving all praise, honor, glory to Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI. Lord, when this lesson was edifying. Shalom.